The people that get better are the ones that make a clear decision and then go and do it. They make a decision and they do it now. And they don't wait around. They don't constantly sit in doubt forever and let fear dictate their decisions. They show up despite their fear, whether that's with their sleep, their nutrition, their mindset, their movement. They change their habits accordingly. Welcome. Hello. My name is Toby Morrison, the host of the CFS Health Recovery podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what every single person who gets better has in common. This is a really important conversation to have because, to be honest, there's kind of like a blueprint or a framework. If we look back and we connect the dots, we can see some commonalities between people who get better. We've seen this time and time again from people in literally over 55 countries. And this is just like really practical and simple solutions that you can start to apply in your own life and in your own recovery. So if you're feeling a little bit lost and a little bit like, oh my God, I don't know where to start, this is new to you and you've just been diagnosed with like long COVID or chronic fatigue syndrome and you don't know where to start, this is a fantastic place to start for you. So let's get into it. What are the common traits that every single person who gets better has? The first thing is their mindset. There's a certain want to get better. And I'm not saying that everyone doesn't want to get better, but there's a stage where you might believe that it's not even possible to get better. There's a stage where you might feel like giving up. And when you feel like giving up, it's very hard to do anything because you're in that mindset and mind frame of what's the point. And when you believe that there's no point, you're not going to do anything that's going to serve you to help you with your life or your health. And I want to pre-frame this by saying what you are going through is not all in your head. What you are going through is 100% real. What you are going through is 100% physical. Neurological, right? It's brain and body. And so your symptoms are real. You're not making this stuff up. I hate it when people say, oh, someone told me that I'm just making this up or that it's all in my head. It is not all in your head. However, if you are doing these certain things that are roadblocking you from getting better, some of it has to do with your mindset. Not because your mindset is what's going to fundamentally get you better just by changing your thoughts and beliefs, but it's your behaviors that become a result of your thoughts and beliefs that either help you get on the way or help you stay stuck in the way. And so first of all, number one, the people that get better, they have a want, they have a will, they have this feeling of, I'm going to get better. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm fully committed. There's a want and a will there that is very powerful. The second thing is they turn to their self. And there's a point in time for their recovery, and everyone's different, where they stop the search outside of themselves. They stop looking for the quick fix. They stop looking for the next best thing. There's a lot of people out there who have been waiting for 20, 30 years for a cure. And they're going to wait another 10, 20, 30 years for a cure. Because there will never be one pill that's going to fix this problem because it's too multifaceted. There's too much going on. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. And it's not that easy. It takes a multifaceted approach. Everyone's problems are different. Everyone's symptoms are different. And so you must take a holistic approach. We know that chronic fatigue syndrome affects your body. We know chronic fatigue syndrome affects your brain. And so we need to look at it holistically to make changes. And so I've seen this thousands of times. People who get better, they have a self-inward focus. They go, who can fix me in a 1-hour appointment that I go to once a month versus what can I do in my day because I have 24 hours in my day that I can control and focus on that's going to help me either move forwards or not move forwards. And we're talking about sleep, we're talking about nutrition, we're talking about routine and structure, we're talking about mindset, we're talking about body, we're talking about restorative movement and reconditioning your body. We're talking about progress. We're talking about environment. We're talking about where you're putting yourself and what you're putting yourself in. There is so many factors here, and every single person who gets better, they have a self-inward focus versus an out-there focus of looking for someone else to fix them because they get to the point where they realize that's not possible. In fact, we just did a success story with one of our past members, Tara, and she spent $30,000 on treatments before she joined our program. And the difference was our program never ever says and never ever claims that we or the program fixes them. What we claim is that we help you help yourself get healthy and start living again. It's very different. And so the penny drops, which then takes us to the number 3. You go from victim to victor. And what I mean by that is you no longer ask questions that keep you stuck in victim mindset. Why me? This is unfair. How dare this happen to me? I can't believe this is happening to me. Now, understandably, we've all been there. Everyone goes through this. However, it's not going to help you get better. And so we need to go from victim to victor mindset. The victor says, what's happened has happened. What can I do right now? What can I focus on? And the victim focuses on the past. The victim is basically trying to drive a car, but looking in the rearview mirror the whole time. And they're wondering why they can't get anywhere. Because you're stuck in victim mindset. It's not helping you move forwards. It's not propelling you to where you want to go. And being in a victim mindset is, all right, what can I do today? What can I do to control my situation? What can I do to help myself? And it's a huge contrast because not only does the victor start to think more positively towards the future, but they start to act in the moment, doing the right things that are going to help them change their future. Very hard to move forwards if you're looking in the rearview mirror the whole time. In fact, I had a client, Michelle from USA. She was in total victim mindset. And understandably, she was in a horrible way. Her health was in such a bad way that she'd been diagnosed with more illnesses that I'd ever seen on one piece of paper. It's like a whole page full. And she could have stayed like that forever, but thankfully she didn't. She made a decision to no longer be a victim of her reality and to be a victor of her reality and take control of what she could control. And it wasn't easy and it was hard. And she showed up despite it being hard. And guess what happened 12 months later? That lady couldn't even leave her bedroom to start with. That's how ill she was. Within 1 year, she was able to go down to her local beach and put her feet in the water on the sand and have that water rush over her feet, and just the feeling of life in her body again was just incredible. And that just goes to show another powerful thing. I wonder what would have happened if she stayed where she was at in that victim mentality. Which brings us on to 4 and 5, stories and beliefs. We're all telling a story. Some of them are good, some of them not so good. Maybe your story right now is that you can't get better. It's not possible for me. This is unfair. There's no options. Other people can get better, but not me. That could just be your story right now. And my question to you is, how's that story working out for you? Probably keeping you where you're at. Another story that you could flip is, if other people can get better, I can get better too. And if it's possible for Jane to get better, then it's possible for me too. And here's the thing. Most of the time, most people compare themselves to others and put themselves down. And it's hilarious because especially in our world, there's a myth that says if you're over a certain age bracket, you can't get better. And then we see clients who have been diagnosed with ME, CFS, who are in their 50s and 60s, who have been sometimes suffering for 10, 20 years, get better. And that myth is broken. What if you believe that it was possible for you too? How would that change the game for you if your story just changed to, what would my life be like if I believed that recovery was possible for me too? What do you think happens as a result of believing that story of possibility? It's not that you just sit there all day and you go, I believe it's possible for me to get better. I believe it's possible for me to get better. You can do that if you want. But I know a lot of people aren't into that, and I get it. I don't think you should sit there and sing Kumbaya all day. But here's what does happen when you start to believe that possibility. You start to act differently. You start to behave differently. You start to do things differently. And when you do things differently, you create change. And when you create change, you create effect. And when you create effect, your life changes as a result of that. And we see this all the time. Now, does it happen overnight? For a lot of people, no, it doesn't. But you fundamentally get to make that choice. But you really need to do an inventory of your stories. What are you believing that is keeping you stuck? What are you believing that is limiting you? You might not even be aware that you're creating a story. They're so habitual. They're so habitual that it's like eating breakfast and brushing your teeth. That's how habitual it's become for you. But check those stories. Are they serving you? Maybe they're keeping you stuck. What are you believing about the future? Well, I've seen so many times now over the last decade and a half of people who are scared to get better. That's another story. Like, it's scary to get better. What happens if I get better and then I have to deal with life? That's a reality for some people. Again, everyone's story is different, but check your stories. We know for a fact that the people that get better, they're ones that change their stories to where they want to go, to focusing on what they do want, not what they don't want. And this almost sounds too simple. Like, it can't be that simple. Simple doesn't mean it's easy. And there's a big difference there. A lot of people, that's just too simple. I'm not even going to bother. Bullshit. My suggestion to you is, well, imagine if you did start to change your story and did the easy, simple stuff that might seem too easy, but it's actually not. It just takes work, but it's very simple. You do not need to add complexity to a already hard and complex situation. It's really asking for simplicity. What's your stories and beliefs? What's your belief? So many people from all around the world have been told that it's not possible for them to get better. They see a doctor who doesn't understand chronic fatigue syndrome and they go, there's no cure. That's what they say. There's no cure. There's no pill that can fix you. So good luck. We wish you all the best. And it's horrible. But the problem is that person then goes home and believes that there's no cure. It's not possible for them to get better. Now, look what happens. They fall into victim mindset. They focus on what they can't have. They still look for outside help that's going to fix them. They fall into victim mindset. They start to create stories that it's not possible for them, and then they act out in behaviors that don't serve them and aren't going to help them get better. Interesting, isn't it? And you can see why some people in the results that they've got is purely from the behaviors that are dictating their reality. Now, again, I'm not saying it's all in your head. You can see here that these shifts then create the physiological change that you need to go and do in order to make change happen, which then leads me on to habits. People who get better, they change their habits. They change their habits to enhance their life. They stop doing anything that doesn't serve them anymore. It's like a cutoff. It's like boundaries. This isn't serving me anymore. I'm changing it. And the people that get better are the ones that make a clear decision and then go and do it. They make a decision and they do it now. And they don't wait around. They don't constantly sit in doubt forever and let fear dictate their decisions. They show up despite their fear, whether that's with their sleep, their nutrition, their mindset, their movement. They change their habits accordingly. The next thing that they do is they all focus on progress. They focus on progressing in the right way though. So they're not people who try and get better overnight. They're not people who try and push their progress too far. They just progress at the right time, doing the right things, and over time it just becomes easier and easier. But they progress despite fear. They show up despite fear. They do the things regardless of whether there's doubt or not, and over time it gets better and better and better. And they're future focused. Remember what I said before, when you're trying to drive a car and if you're constantly looking in the rearview mirror, it's very hard to drive forwards, right? You're going to be driving all over the road. People who get better, they're so focused on what they want and their future that the past doesn't matter. The past has been, and they focus just on moving forwards of where they want to go. And if you think about it in life, in any area of life, anyone who's created success, and what I mean by success is doing and going after your goals and dreams, whatever that is for you, all the people that have achieved that have had a forward focus. None of them have been looking in the rearview mirror going, well, why hasn't this happened? And this is so unfair. And they're not doing that because it's wasted energy, and you do not have energy to waste here. You've got to literally focus on all the things you can do that are going to enhance your energy and move you forwards. These are just some of the commonalities that we see people who get better. And it's okay if you're not doing these things right now, but how could you implement these in your life? What would it be like for you if your stories change from you can't do this and you can't do that to what if I could? How would it feel for you if you just believed that it was possible for you to get better? What if you believed that it didn't have to be such a hard slog all the time? Imagine if you just believe it's going to take me 20 years to get better. That belief is a pretty limiting belief, because what if it doesn't take you 20 years? What if it takes you 1 year? What if it takes you months? Everyone's different. But why are you limiting yourself? A perfect example of belief is Santa Claus. You know, we grew up believing that Santa Claus is real. And then when we hit 8, maybe 9, maybe a bit younger these days, literally in a second, that belief is broken. But for so long, we used to believe that Santa Claus would go down the chimney and he'd put all our presents in the socks, and we'd wake up in the morning, we'd make sure we leave the milk and the cookies at the front door. And for that whole time, we've been believing it 8 years as a child. And then we're told one day, we find out through our cousin or someone, or we spot mum and dad filling up the stocking and they're caught. And within a second, that belief is totally shattered. It's important to check your own beliefs right now and see which ones you need to shatter and start to move forwards with. I want to send you a ton of love. Hope this was really insightful and helpful. My recommendation for a deeper dive in this is go and watch all the amazing success stories on YouTube. There's so many, and you can hear in more depth and detail what these guys actually did to get better on the daily basis in terms of habits changed, in terms of insights and revelations, and then just the work that they had to do to get there. Sending you a ton of love. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.